coffee break with me. Come and take your coffee break with me. Come and take your coffee. Come and take your coffee. Come and take your coffee break with me.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee Break with Candace and David. I'm your co-host, David Marino. And with the start of the new year, I thought, who's a perfect person to interview? He was one of my first interviews when I started co-hosting the show. His name is Toan. I consider him a friend, and I wanted to talk to him because, as I said, we're in the new year. It's a time when people start thinking about things they want to do with their life, changes they want to make. But Toan is a philanthropist. He is a former journalist. He was on PBS as a talk show host. He's a motivational speaker. This is a long list. He founded a nonprofit called Go Inspire Go, and he's a very inspirational person. He's also been a regular blogger for the Huffington Post. He's been featured in Forbes magazine and a number of other publications. He's also a lifestyle expert and appears on local news segments, just giving lifestyle advice. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Toan Lam. Toan, thank you for coming back to the show and visiting with us.
Thanks for having me, David, on your platform. And cheers to a new year. I mean, all that stuff you said, you can just say, he's a human being that loves David Marino.
Oh, that's great. Well, I was sitting here like the list does go on and on, but for real, on the serious note, you're somebody that's inspirational to me, and on this path of doing like this public access show, I looked to you and we talked about it just for inspiration and advice. And so with the start of the new year, I wanted to get right off onto this topic because we were talking about it before we started recording. I think a lot of times people enter a new year and they have these New Year's resolutions, and there's a lot of pressure to like make all these changes, but you and I both have a different thought process about this, and I'll let you expand on it. When it comes to living your life the best way, it really should not be confined to New Year's resolutions, right? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, and Happy New Year's to you and to everybody, you and Candace. Gosh, there is such a weight and a burden and all these like things that we learn through our childhood that takes the innocence away from us around the concept and the idea of like, oh my God, new year, resolutions, be better, do better. But why can't it just be, you and I talk about this all the time as friends offline, why can't it just be every day that, every single day, every single interaction, trying to be better and do better and make somebody else's life and your life more beautiful. So I do not believe in resolutions, but I do believe I have a ritual around intention setting. And I do it every 6 months with two of my friends. If you can't do it alone, there's a lot of online resources that you can find online. But if you don't want to do it alone, I like to share experiences and hold one another accountable. So I have two, I call them soul sisters, Keely and Kate, that every 6 months, we do a quick check-in. And we started off with the meditation. Then we have words that, from the last 6 months and words that kind of symbolize where we hope to go.
For people who may not know what that means, is it goal setting? Is it just intentional in terms of, what you plan to do in that day? Like, I'm going to be nice to somebody. I'm going to tell somebody I think they're great at what they do. I mean, what do you consider intention setting?
That is such a great question. And it's funny that you asked that, David, and this is how in sync we are, because I haven't talked to you for probably I think 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
But I've been within those 2 weeks, I've been having conversations with people about the definition of what you and I mean about whatever word is around whatever topic we're talking about. And one of them, it has been around intention. For me, it's intention to me means in my heart, what do I desire? How do I desire to be better and do better? And so pre-pandemic, actually, I was like, you know what? I really want to start meditating every day, but why meditate every day? It was really hard to what do? I just sit here and there's so many thoughts that come through. But once I learned to unlearn all the things about meditation or intentions and all this stuff, and just be more in the flow of what it feels like here, then you grow more. So for example, intention to me means I always do check-ins. I think I actually do it with myself seasonally, every season, the fall, things fall away. What things do I not aren't working for me personally, professionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is. And how do I want to be better and do better? So I do like have this little internal dialogue with that. But intentions could be, you know what? Gosh, I'm starting to wear, dress up again. And I just emceed this big event of 400 people. And I was like, I'm dressing up. And I'm like, oh, are my pants a little bit tighter? You know what I mean? Like, ooh, and just being aware. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to start making sure that, I was just eating sweets all the time and eating whatever I want all the time during the first year. Lord help us with the pandemic when we went into lockdown. And I thought, well, you know what? Let me recalibrate. I don't really feel good sweets and a lot of like carbs and a lot of these things, but I don't want to, like, if I want a burger, I'm not gonna go to town on a burger, you know what I mean? Or if I want a piece of pizza, I'm gonna have some pizza. I'm just not gonna have the whole pizza. So then I'm like, okay, then I recalibrate. It's not like anything formal either. I'm like, you know what? 2 days a week or 3 days a week. And some days I'll break that because there's a holiday or a friend coming into town and I want to slice a piece of the cake. And, some people are super strict and they won't eat that piece of cake. I'm all about, going with the flow and definitely not trying to fall off the wagon, but those little things. So one of the things I told myself, so that's my physical health, but my spiritual health, one of the things that I wanted to do was I was like, you know what, I really want to spend time with my mental health, because as you know, I lost 4 family members in a year's time: my dad, my aunt, my 2 grandmothers, my abuelitas, which are like one taught me about style and one taught me about spiritual parts. And that was like 2001, like almost, was it 2 decades? I'm really bad at math. Two decades ago, and I'm just like, still learning to process that. And then my brother-in-law, I had a couple other deaths, and then my brother, with friends and family, and then my brother-in-law committed suicide 5 years ago, and I'm still processing all that. So I was like, what am I doing for my mental health? I'm always you and I are friends because we share the same values. We're caretakers. We love to take care of people. And I remember when you would buy me like little gifts, and we're roommates and all that. And I think that I thought it was really important for me to work on my mental health. So I was like, what does that even look like? And I started like journaling, and I beat myself up because I didn't journal every day. And I'm like, well, if I don't feel like journaling every day, then I won't journal every day. And if it's an amalgam of, oh, I want to read a book today. Oh, I will journal some days, and some days I don't journal, but I have a ritual every day. So I wake up and I take a deep breath, and I'm like, thank you for this day. God, universe, thank you. Like, it's a gift to be alive, for all my organs to be working and breath to flow through me. Then I sit in silence some days right away, and some days I'm just like, just go straight to the app. So I use Insight Timer. Sarah Blondin, Blondin, is one of my all-time favorite spiritual teachers on that platform. So I do that. Sometimes I'll journal, sometimes I won't journal, but every day I meditate, which means sitting in stillness and or listening to a guided meditation, or both. Some days I have time to do a CrossFit workout virtually with a friend of mine, and every day I stretch as well. So those are the things. And then I have a cup of hot water and lemon, and then I got my coffee right after. And some people are like, oh, I don't have time. And I'm like, I'm an early riser. So it's all what you make of it, Right. I know people that, oh, you don't have kids. Well, I know a lot of people that have kids that do the same thing. They just wake up earlier. So anyway, so I've been doing that religiously for like, I don't know, a few years. And that really helps me with my mental health.
And I wanted to mention mental health because, I've always been a big proponent of therapy. I've always been very open about that. I do that because I do need that. But then, like you're saying, I incorporated working out, which was never one of my things. In the last 3 years, I've really been doing that. That's helped with my mental health. And I think for everybody, just like some of the examples that you gave, for everybody, it's different what works for them. Like therapy may not work for some people. There's reading and journaling may be like the perfect thing for somebody else. Like for you love doing that. I think it's okay to have different ways to figure out how to cope with your life or the situations that arise in your life, and if you do need to seek a professional's advice, that's also okay. It's okay to admit that, I feel, as well, on that topic around mental health, which there's sometimes is a stigma attached to it, and people are afraid to reach out if they do need additional help. what else would you say to that, just in terms of, you said you're in the midst of processing a lot of things, and I know you very well in terms of meditation is huge for you. And I've heard from a lot of people that really does work for them. What does that do for you? Because it is such a big part of your life. I don't really meditate often, but I've been told by many people that I should. So I just wanted to touch on that more, because I'm always fascinated with people who are very disciplined about meditating.
Mhm. David, thank you. I'm going to one baby step back real quick and say I am holding space and honoring the fact that you admitted that, therapy is something that you shared it personally with me. And just to see you grow on this platform and as a person through our conversations, like, really makes me proud of my soul brother, you. So there's so many taboos, and there's people that, nope, it's not for me, not for me. And I'm like, you know what, you do you, boo. That's what I always say. You do what works for you. But I really believe that I want to put a disclaimer out there that when you feel like you just can't get up and out of bed and function and go to work, or don't want to be around people, and you suicidal thoughts and all that, like, for sure, go see somebody, like, right away. I would never tell anybody to do one thing or that or the other, because I don't know your life. There's no
Right.
one shirt fits all, one size fits all type of thing.
Right. And if you have questions, please seek out a physician, a therapist, or somebody who can give you that professional
Absolutely,
advice.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like having a therapist, I've had one before. It's like dating. It's like, okay, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It might not be the right time. But the whole meditation thing is I love that you asked that, because to sink a little bit deeper root deeper into that question, it's, there is no one way to do meditation. You could sit and pay all this money to have a guru. I don't believe in gurus, by the way. We're all gurus. We're our own gurus. You know what I mean? But we're our own teachers, and we teach each other along the way what we share, and that's why we go through things. But I think for me, meditating could be. I love gardening. I call it Le Secret Garden back here. It's like a little secret French garden at our home, and so I just love gardening, and I'm in the present moment. It's whatever brings you in the present moment. You know, if you are just people watching, that's a spiritual act. It doesn't have to be creating art either. It's just sitting there with your emotions and with your thoughts. And then as time passes, it's almost like you're channeling something from another place that starts to give you information. So to me, meditation is the act of just being aware, the awareness. So meditating, we're doing it all the time. We're just not aware of it. Like your deep breaths, or like Eckhart Tolle, the author of the book A New Earth and The Power of Now, two of my favorite spiritual books. He says, if you just sit really still, let's do it for a quick second. If you sit still and just feel your fingers, there's a pulse and vibration and like electricity going through them. That's meditation. Gardening, designing flowers, making clothes, like all that is so there's no one way, one size fits all. So it's find what works for you. For some people it's dance. I do really think it's important for all of us, because there's all this, like, one of our worst enemies here, it always takes us away from the present moment, I feel like. So it's really important for me just to sit and be still, because there are the little gaps in between. I call it the beautiful, gorgeous, mundane parts of life that are in between the having to work, having to take care of family, having to caregive, blah, 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 blah. And there's like little segments of moments that are just beautiful. So there's no one way meditation. It is important, though. I'm a ritualistic type person. So one of the things I love doing, like, that I give a lot of advice to, but both friends or like on TV as a lifestyle expert, is there's little tricks and hacks. I call them like ninja hacks, like ninja tips, to get yourself to do it more. Like, I love the cross section, and I'm studying. I have a blog called styleyourspirit.com, where I'm studying like this cross section of and sharing information on the style and the spirit, because it's all intertwined. Like, what's the space around you reflects the place inside you, and vice versa. So this is my sunroom that we're in right now, and it faces, I'm going to turn this really quickly so you could see the big, beautiful window.
Oh, I love that.
Garden. Thank you. And so I sit here, and the lovely thing about how it's placed, feng shui wise, is it's faced to the east where the sun rises. So the sun rises here, in the morning. And so I just like literally sit and open the drapes and take a deep breath. And I'm like, thank you. And I set this up the design wise so that there's not a lot of things blocking the window. There's a lot of space here where I'm sitting right now. I moved I have no coffee table. I have some end tables or some poofs that I put here when I have guests to put like candles and books and our cups and stuff on. But this is a place where I retreat to every single morning. And it, and it's lovely. Right outside of here is the veranda, and so I sit out there and I light incense. I talk to my ancestors. I just did that this morning. Talked to my grandmas and my dad and my auntie. But I'll go on the rocking chair out there and I'll sit. I'll cozy it up sometimes. It's raining and wet, so I didn't do that today. But I'll just like I'll be in my robe, wrap myself up in a big furry blanket and like my beanie. Go out there with a cup of water or tea and just sit. But that's a trick. I get up and I want to go here because I made it beautiful.
And I love that you talked about that because your environment around you is so important. Like your style has always been your style. We were roommates and my style has been mine. Like I'm going to say I had to bring like a vinyl just to kind of show this. Yeah. I love vinyl record shopping. I love music. I love movies. That's my happy space. And so if you look behind me, you can see like there's movie posters everywhere and theater and like that is my like that's how I choose to surround my space, what I choose to surround it with. But for everybody, just like yourself, like looking at your background, it's so you and so Toan and so calming for me even. But that's the point, right? Is that you want to surround yourself, in your space with things that make you feel calm, that make you feel happy, that give you that, that inspiration almost.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that. And yes, you are perfectly who you are, and I'm perfectly who I am. And I remember, thank God you just didn't have, because I don't like horror movies. Thank God you
I do have
Halloween.
Some,
I know you love them.
It's over here. You can't see it.
The Halloween, the Halloween. I like that stuff. But that's your thing. But we do love us some Debbie Gibson. We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about that.
I have her all over my wall too. So yes.
Only in my dreams. But back to my Electric Youth days. Whoa, flashback. But no, I just think you do you. But definitely surround yourself by beautiful people who lift and gift and shift you with their energy. So I think on that level of connecting with people, I intend to every day to have beautiful connections and react beautifully to things that might not even be beautiful. This lady was like one time cut me off when I was like, I let her go. I slowed down to let her go, and she was like, middle fingering me and I just thought, gosh, I wonder what it feels like to be so mad at the world. I don't know what happened to her as a kid. And I'm not like this like monk who's like, oh, namaste, whatever. I used to want to bash people's windows in as a kid. I grew up in the hood, up to no good, okay? But with my aunt, I remember being like 14 in the car. I would drive with her to get her treatment. She had breast cancer. She was dying of breast cancer, and she was I call Hongyi, Auntie Hongyi. She drives super slow anyway, but she was kind of in the fast lane, driving at normal speed, which is slow. People would honk and cuss at her and give her the finger, and I'm just like, if you only knew, And so that what she was going through, and so that again was a intention that I set as a little boy. I didn't name it intention, but I said, you know what? Let me try to be kind to people. And it's hard, but let me be kind to people who may have had a bad day because I don't know what they're going through. So that, I think that really every experience we have is a gift that teaches us something.
It is true to stop and think about, you don't know what somebody else is going through and their reaction to something so insignificant. That's a bigger thing that's going on with them usually, but we don't stop and think that in the moment. We have our own stuff that's going on and we react the way they're reacting to us. And I'll tell you on a personal note, like I'm not having a great mental day today. And I was so looking forward to having this conversation with you because for me, as you said, I know we don't get to talk all the time, but touching base with people that do lift you up when you're not having a good day and also admitting that. And I think people are so afraid of this. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. And I've embraced that in my life at this point, which there was a time when I felt like I had to put up a wall and not show my true emotions, but I'm just not having a great mental day. And but I have to talk to myself through that and understand why. For me, the new year is a trigger. Like I get overwhelmed, and the holidays they're a time for me that's difficult. And as long as you know what it is and you kind of sit with it, you're like, okay. And then you try to just power through your day and accept that it's okay to have that moment. Are you like that as well? Because I think we all try to just, I don't even want to say power through my day. I think we all try too hard to power through things without giving it the acknowledgement that it needs when you're not having a great day.
Oh, well, first and foremost, I was equally as excited to see you too. I'm going through like a little dark patch in my life personally as well. But it was funny that you brought that up because when I just got back from a trip in Mexico, and I was journaling. I got this beautiful journal, and there's so many little nuggets in here, like that we're talking about right here. That I wanted to share really quickly with you. I didn't really think I was going to share this with you, but with practice, you will find your little sweet spot. Of knowing that this visitor that is coming to me is a sage. And one of the things that I've really learned in my meditations is that anxiety, loneliness, fear, and Sarah Blondin really beautifully says this too, this spiritual teacher that I follow, they're your sages, and they are here to teach you things. So when you're going through this dark spot, I always think a couple things. One is, I just made this up right now. Like motion is a potion and lotion. I don't know. It's like, it helps like grind your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual gears. So like this morning, I woke up and I was, on my phone. And then, I try to not be on my phone a lot, but just coming back from the trip and going through the holidays and like all these anxieties like you were talking about. So I was like on my phone, and then I noticed I was on social media and I didn't feel good. So what I did was, the motion part was, I don't feel good with this right now. Let me put this down. Let me come to this place here, get some hot water and some lemon and sit. Listen to Sarah Blondin or your meditation of choice. And I sat in silence and I stretched, drank my water, went on a walk, called a friend. All these are little actions that we take. You have the choice right now to change your reality with a thought. And this is like so powerful. But people call it spirituality, woo woo, wah wah, wee wee. Like people from young to old have asked me about, spirituality, like how'd you start this and that? But it's all in us already, it's just a matter of being like aware of what you're going through and changing it with baby steps.
And styleyourspirit.com, can you expand more on that so that if people want to go visit that, you kind of give them an idea of what you're doing? I have to say before we get into it, you've always been and still are if I were going to have a house party, I would call you, or I'd have you come fly in, because I'd be like, I need Toan to like organize and make this look nice. And because you just have like, that is a talent. Like you're very good at design, like the way you set things up, even design, like to me, you just have that is part of who you've always been. But now today it's really kind of come to the forefront for you. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So a couple things. One is another old story that I was told is, oh my gosh, like I stopped journaling. Oh my God, I stopped making these blogs and videos. Oh my God, like, and then I beat myself up for it, which doesn't serve my highest self. So styleyourspirit.com basically is just a little collection of videos and blogs that I created where it's one interior design tip and one spiritual tip, like candle care and self-care. Like how do those connect? Check it out, or Palo Santo, the sticks, the sacred sticks that they burn in Catholic churches and other spiritual places that only grows in South America. Like I talk about that and why that makes your home more fabulous and how that makes you feel more fabulous. And throughout COVID and being locked down, I was making them on the weekly to help my own mental health. But what was interesting was that because of this blog, like local stations throughout California and just like on the internet and there's like different platforms, and you and AARP and other brands and other people have been asking me about like mental and physical health and how to judge your space up, because I have several I intended, one of the things I intended to do was I wanted interior design to do interior design and help people make their space more beautiful to lift their spirits. So I've been doing that for different clients recently, and they're like, oh my God, you don't even know how great this makes me feel. I always want to be here now. It's not about the money part. It's really about like how places and spaces make you feel. Like for you, like your wall, the gallery wall, I think it's cool. Some people might think it's cluttered, but oh well, you do you. You know what I mean? Or some people might think this is like too relaxed or not as refined or whatever the heck. I don't care. It feels good to me. So with the clients that I do, that I share, inspirational tips with, or the audience, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I started just creating, I don't know how many, I didn't even count, but many blogs and videos just about how style affects your spirit and vice versa. And I think during COVID, it hit a chord with a lot of people, right? A lot of TV stations were just like, oh my God, can you come and talk to us about, I just did a live hit with one of the local stations here, a live shot, how I styled 2 tables, and one was $40 and one was $20. I went to the dollar store for one of the tables, and I foraged branches and things from my neighbors with permission, and just made it beautiful. And the tables looked like $1 million, so it's just a place for me to, not need to, but I think I want to go back to and do something with that. I think I'm inspired to collect some of those and make them a coffee table book or something and share some of those. I don't know, but I just, I think it's really important it makes me so happy. To share tips about how to make your life more beautiful inside and out. And it's just like beautiful things like, I remember I got my first like really nice diptyque candle, or my Toan candle back in the day. And people are like, you're going to burn that? I'm like, yes, this is a treat to myself because of X, Y, or Z, a life or milestone moment. They're like, you're going to use it? I'm like, yes, I'm going to use it. Like, what if I die tomorrow, right? Or like, I get china from like antique shops or their stores, and a lot of them are just very inexpensive, but they're fabulous and were very expensive, like when the person bought it or whatever. But I use beautiful things every day. I use my china, use my silver and gold plated flatware. I use all of it all the time, because it lifts it to be in touch with these things. It's not a materialistic thing, but to be in touch with this like handmade clay thing that somebody poured their love into, to making, makes me just like so happy and gives that little sparkle and joy to the day. So anyway, so that's what it's about. I just think that if you're really in tune with your own self, we are all good people. And because of things that happen to us, like we're kind of dragged into the mud, and yuck and muck. And I think for me, sharing these tips about spirituality and interior design or gardening stuff really connects me to spirit, and hopefully they feel that energy and it connects them to their spirit or to their higher self. So that's just the goal of it. It really is about making your life more beautiful from the inside and out, and just doing these little things.